eggs and you get a little shell in there, the easiest way to get the broken shell is with the other shell. We're just gonna whisk them up. I think the key to getting fluffy scrambled eggs is to add just a little water to it. All right, and then obviously season it with salt and pepper. So you always scramble your eggs on a lower heat, like a medium-low. I'm using a non-stick pan, so you don't need a ton of butter. You want to soft cook these, almost, to where you think they're undercooked, but they're not, because they are going to cook again when you go to reheat the burrito. The way to get soft and creamy scrambled eggs is to stir them often. Now, if you like a harder scrambled egg, don't stir it as much and cook it a little longer, but you do you. This is where I like to pull it. You can see that it's still kind of creamy in there. All right, so all that's left is the build. And really, you can put in here whatever you want. This is a protein episode, so I'm trying to give you as much protein as I can. And another little trick is to roll them in a higher protein tortilla. And I'm also gonna show you how to properly roll a burrito. Okay, so I'm gonna start with some cheese on the bottom. That's gonna prevent the burrito from getting soggy. I'm gonna put the eggs on top of the cheese to help melt the cheese. A piece of bacon and a scoop of sausage. All right, here's how to roll. So you wanna take the outsides, fold them over, then you're gonna take your thumbs to use the bottom, and you wanna go all the way over, and then any little pieces that fall out, you just kind of scoot them in, and then you roll. Tuck and roll, and then you got your seam right here. We're gonna place them seam side down while we do the rest, and then we'll wrap them up. And then you want to take your rolled burritos. You're going to want to put them onto a baking sheet. I'm going to pop these in the freezer for a couple hours till they're hardened, and then you can just throw them in one big Ziploc bag and then pull out one or two, however many you need, as you go. All right, so when it's time, you take your burrito and you just put it straight into the air fryer. All it was 400 degrees for about 6 to 8 minutes. See this? That's better than doing it in a microwave. Of course, I like to serve mine with salsa. There's no reason to be getting the breakfast burrito at the drive-thru when it's this easy. And these like low-carb, high-protein wraps, you can't tell the difference, especially when it's toasted like that. I will definitely be filling my freezer with these because I'm so tired of hearing my kids say we don't have anything for breakfast. All right, this next one is for all my oatmeal lovers. One of our editors was talking about how her mom always puts an egg into her oatmeal, and it just kind of blew some people's minds away, so that's what we're gonna do. This is also something that you can do ahead and keep in jars. All you have to do is microwave it the next morning. I'm doing quick cooking oats, about a cup. The first way we're gonna add a lot of extra protein is by using milk, and it doesn't have to be regular milk. It can be almond milk or whatever milk of choice that has extra protein in it instead of water. This is the way to go, plus your oatmeal is gonna be way creamier and better. I always add a little pinch of salt into my oatmeal. And then not in the recipe, but I am legit trying to make a oatmeal that my kids would devour. I'm gonna add in a little bit of brown sugar. Bring this up to a simmer and wait until all of the oats absorb that liquid. While that happens, we'll crack our eggs. I'll make sure it's really well beaten. So about 30 to 40 seconds. Okay, now that your oatmeal has thickened, this is when we incorporate the egg. So you just want to slowly incorporate it while stirring the whole time so it doesn't, just scramble. You could also just do the egg whites if you don't want to add the whole egg. All right, so it's all incorporated, but you can tell it kind of thinned it out a little bit because the egg is still raw, it's not cooked. When it gets thick again, that's when you know that egg is cooked. All right, and that's it. Then I'm doing peanut butter oatmeal. Another scoop of protein. I like to stir it in while it's hot, and then it'll melt. Okay, now we're not done though. We're even gonna make it better. In goes our oatmeal, so rich and creamy. And then I'm gonna add in some peanuts. That's gonna give us even more protein. One of my favorite combos ever is peanut butter and banana, so I'm gonna add some sliced banana on top. I love getting different temperatures and textures when I eat the oatmeal, because oatmeal is just a bowl of mush, let's be honest. I'm gonna add on our chopped peanuts. We've got peanut butter, we've got banana, and then a little drizzle of honey. Come on now. A regular serving of oatmeal, just the oats cooked in water, only has 5 grams of protein. This bowl right here has about 4 times that amount. Better than anything that comes out of a package, I can tell you that. That's delicious. This is breakfast stuffed peppers. You've had stuffed peppers before, but this is like a combination of stuffed peppers meets breakfast casserole. So you can take whatever kind of bell peppers you want, whatever color you like, and then you're just gonna cut them in half and take out the seeds and ribs. I'm just gonna drop them in some boiling water for just a couple minutes. just to get them, you know, a little head start in the cooking process, and then they'll finish in the oven. All right, the filling is going to be sausage, potatoes, eggs, and cheese. And for the potatoes, I'm just using some shredded hash browns. I'm just going to heat up a skillet, add a little oil, and then just kind of fry these up a little bit. I've already got my sausage going in another skillet, but you could do this all in one skillet. Okay, we've given our potatoes a little head start. I'm gonna add in the sausage back. Let all that come together. All right, gonna season it with a little salt and pepper. Then we're gonna add in half of our cheese that we're using and our eggs. Once I stir the eggs in, I'm just gonna turn off the heat because again, we're gonna cook them again in the oven. This one's not gonna be too eggy. It's more about the cheese and sausage. But the egg is just there to kind of hold it together. Okay, I forgot to add the green onions. Adding in a little green onion for color. Spoon this deliciousness into our peppers. And listen, you want to pack it in, okay? These are also great for meal prep, like at the beginning of the week, and you can just keep them in the little storage containers in your fridge. I'm loading these up with protein. Do you see that? And then I'm gonna add in a little more cheese for the topping. Okay. Spray the top of my foil so the cheese doesn't stick. All right, and that's it. Everything's still kind of warm, so these are only gonna take about 15 to 20 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees. These smell so good. Oh yeah. So gooey and melty. Saved a little green onion for the top. This is one of those things where the protein comes as an afterthought. That's just like an added bonus because this is all about the dish and how delicious it is. I like that the pepper is not pure mush. It has a little bit of a bite to it. I mean, this is just an A+. My next trick incorporates a little shortcut, but it's a crowd pleaser, I promise. Sheet pan pancakes. The shortcut is protein pancake mix. These mixes, you can just add water and call it a day, but there are ways that you can, you know, improve it. I'm gonna do about 4 cups. We added protein there, and then I'm also gonna add 4 eggs. And I'm gonna add in a dash of cinnamon. Of course I wouldn't have it. Okay. Back in business. Just a dash. And then we whisk it up. Oh my gosh, Nicole.
Oh.
Just got a little aggressive with that. The eggs are gonna give it some fluff too, besides just adding protein. It's okay if there are some lumps in there. Generously grease your pan. Really, you just want to spread it to an even layer. I am a plain Jane kind of person when it comes to my pancakes, so I don't love like a lot of filled, but my kids happen to love like chocolate chip pancakes. So you can decorate just some of it. I've seen where you can just kind of put toppings in each quadrant, and that way when you go to cut it, some people can get this, some people can get that, or some people can keep it plain. See how cute that is? And I'm just gonna leave one little section plain for me. I mean, it's easy, you're getting a lot of servings. It takes no time to make, and these only bake for 15 minutes tops. They're gonna be fluffy and perfect. Look at this. And then you just cut it into squares. You could say, I want a little of this and a little of that. That's a fluffy pancake. Every pancake needs some butter though. I do like to add fruit to the top and syrup, duh. I'm just in such shock about the fact that you don't have to stand over a stove and make, you know, tons of pancakes for everyone. One pan and you're done. I want to be honest, the egg that gives these an extra boost of protein and fluffiness, they also kind of, you know, it changes the texture a little bit. It's not quite as soft as what you would get in like just a regular flour-based pancake mix. But that being said, they're really hearty. Like these are gonna fill you up, and you can tell that just after the first bite. Now,